Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have the Miami Open draw preview and predictions to get into for the WTA side, and it's absolutely stacked. As we know, Mira Andreeva is the in-form player right now. She's just won back-to-back Masters 1000 tournaments in Dubai and now Indian Wells. She'll be looking to make it 3 in a row in Miami. For players like Sabalenka, they'll be looking to get their first title of the year, or at least one of their first major title of the year, after she fell short at the Australian Open in the final to Madison Keys in a very tight match, and then also to Mira Andreeva at Indian Wells as well. Swiatek, she is normally dominant at Indian Wells. It wasn't the case this year. Lost to Mira Andreeva. She'll be looking to win Miami like she did in 2022. And then, of course, we've got defending champion Danielle Collins, who I think has gone under the radar because she hasn't really hit those heights for a while since that win last year. But she'll be looking to find some fantastic form at a place that she has some great memories at. For players like Coco Gauff as well, look, I mean, she's looking to find some form. Zheng Qinwen, these types of players, they're really doing their best to try and start picking up some form after a few disappointing results in some tournaments. Before we get into it, though, remember to hit that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Also, shout out to our members who support the channel. We really appreciate you. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you get alerted to all our new uploads. We're going to do this in a couple of ways. So first of all, we're going to break down the projected quarterfinals, which it's very rare that we get all 4 quarterfinals, but sometimes, especially nowadays on the WTA tour, there's a bit more stability. So we tend to get something similar anyway to what the projected quarterfinals are. And then we'll work our way through every single match from the first round. I'll give you my picks, and then we'll start working through the draw and eventually give you our champion. Okay, so our projected quarterfinals are Aryna Sabalenka versus Elena Rybakina. That would be an absolute blockbuster. Coco Gauff versus Jasmine Paolini. Emma Navarro versus Jessica Pegula, which would be an all-American affair. And Madison Keys versus Iga Swiatek. I'd love to see a repeat of that. We saw that at the Australian Open, and Swiatek had match points, and then eventually Madison Keys got the win. So that would be a really interesting matchup to see on slower courts in Miami. I think Swiatek would fancy it, in my opinion, but she has also been struggling against some players like Mira, for example, so she may not feel as invincible on these slower hard courts. Right, let's get into the draw then. So we have Sabalenka, who's got a bye, Tomova and McNally. I'm going to go with McNally, and then Rusa, who's a qualifier, versus Paulina Kudermetova. I'm going to go with Rusa, the qualifier. Freck and Vekic both have buys. Matarova qualifier versus Minen qualifier. I'm going to go with Minen. Castella and Cochiretto will go with Castella. I'm a big fan of Castella in the early rounds. Collins and Zheng Qinwen have buys. Then Lauren Davis versus Ito, who's a qualifier. I'm going to go with Ito, the qualifier. I'm also going to go for another qualifier in Taylor Townsend versus Ann Lee. Potenceva and Fernandez both have buys. Alicia Parks to beat Gracheva for me, and then Kruger to beat Zarazua. No, I'm going to go with Zarazua. Rybakina and Gauff have buys. Kvitova, wildcard, also champion in 2023. She plays Sophia Kenin. I mean, the level from Kvitova hasn't been bad in her matches back from maternity, I have to be honest, but I think she seems to dip quite substantially after the first set, probably just to do with match conditioning. I'm not really sure where she's at in terms of that, so it's difficult to know whether she's going to be able to pick up the form. I'm going to go with Kenin. Monera and Bronzetti go Bronzetti. Sakari has a buy, as is Alexandrova, Pavlyuchenkova, and Lynette. We'll go for Pavlyuchenkova. Also, as you can hear that sound in the background, that's my daughter, baby daughter, just making sounds. So apologies if it's too loud. Claire Liu has a qualifier, as is Linda Favitova. Is a qualifier, as is Linda Favitova. Linda and Brenda Favitova, both of them, have really struggled to kick on. This is an interesting matchup. I mean, it's a 50-50, really. We'll go with Kvitova. Haddad Meir and Kasakina both have buys. Danilovic versus Haley Baptiste wild card. Baptiste is a wild card. Look, I mean, she's not an easy player to come up against. She has some big weapons. I'm going to go with Danilovic, though. Osaka and Starodubtseva, a qualifier as well. Go with Osaka. I mean, look, Osaka made the 2022 Miami Open final when she was at a point in her career where she wasn't playing particularly good tennis. I'm hoping that she's able to pick up the form again after what has been some disappointing results. The back end of last year, start of this year, and I think we know the form's there, or the levels there, but she just needs to consistently find it. Let's see. She's putting in the work. Hopefully, it comes to fruition. Samsonova and Jabeur both have buys. Wan Yu versus Katerina Siniakova. We'll go with Wan Yu. Stefanini qualified versus Shramkova. We'll go with Shramkova. Paolini and Navarro both have buys. Raducanu to beat wildcard Sayaka Ishii. Keep it on Raducanu, though. I mean, she could easily lose. I don't know why Raducanu doesn't have a... That's weird. That's a mistake. She doesn't have a flag next to her. She's not from Russia, so I don't know why they've done that many. Kessler and Buzkova. Noskova and Anisimova both have buys. Of course, Anisimova, a relatively recent Masters 1000 champion in Doha. Great to see her climbing up the rankings. I interviewed her at Wimbledon Qualies last year, so one of the first times she's been qualifying. Definitely the first time she's been qualifying for Wimbledon. And, you could tell that she really... she was not disappointed to be there, but I think she clearly felt that she needed to be in the main draw. That's where she belonged. And, she liked the environment, but she was like, you know what? This isn't the big stage that I feel I should be at. And she didn't get through in the end, lost in the final stage of qualifying, but she's really kicked on since then. So great to see. Abdulaziz, so that's my Sharif Ahmed Abdulaziz. So that's my Sharif has really extended her name after getting married, I'm assuming. Lulu Sun to beat her, I'm going to go for, though. Kudermetova, that's Veronica versus Wang Jinyu. We'll go with Kudermetova. Andreeva and Schneider both have buys. Rakimova and Blinkova. Blinkova. Potapova and Borrego. Potapova. Kostyuk and Kanskaya both have buys. Lamens and Uchijima. I think Uchijima will get the win against Lamens. And then Tomjanovic to beat Pera. Pagula and Keys both have buys. And then Andreeva wildcard versus Avanesian. We'll go with the wildcard in Andreeva. You know that. I'm going to go for it. Ayla wildcard versus Volinets. Go for Volinets. And Ostapenko and Towson both have buys. Tara Katerina Grant wildcard versus Grabber. Go for Grant. Osorio and Mboko wildcard. Go for Osorio. Badosa, Mohova both have buys. Kalanina and Azarenka. That's a good matchup. Go for Azarenka. Yashemska and Bencic. Whoa, that's a tough one for Bencic first round. And for Yashemska, I mean, that's... Oh, man. Courts are slightly slower. Bencic had a good run at Indian Wells. If she holds up okay physically, I think she'll get the win. Svitolina and Mertens both have buys. Bolter and Peyton stands. We'll go for Bolter. And then we've got Garcia and Bonda. So go for Garcia. Świątek has a buy. So that's our first round matchups done. Second round, here we go. Sabalenka to beat McNally. Freck and Russo. We'll go for Freck. Vekic to beat Menon. Collins to beat Oh, you know what? Castella is a tough one. We'll go for Collins. Zheng Wen to beat Ayo Ito. Potentseva to beat Townsend. Yeah. Really, actually? I'm trying to think about this. Yeah. Fernandez, Parks. Go Fernandez. Because of the conditions. Rebecca to beat Zarazua. Kenin could beat Goff here. He's beaten her before. It's not an easy matchup, and Goff just has not been playing particularly well. The only thing I'm thinking is, I mean, these courts are slightly quicker than Indian Wells, but they're still slow. We'll go with Goff, but I'm not convinced. Sakari to beat Bronzetti. Alexandrova, Pavlyuchenkova. I'm going to go with Pavlyuchenkova to get the win there. Unseeded Russian to beat Alexandrova. Haddad Mayer to beat Kvitova. Haddad Mayer, of course, she made the final against Kvitova in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, and she has such a well-suited game for these types of conditions in Miami. There's also a really big Brazilian following in Miami, so I think she really utilizes it in Miami to the best of her ability, and it's great to see. Kasatkina and Danilovic, so we'll go for Kasatkina. I think too much variety for Danilovic. I think she might frustrate the Serbian. Osaka Samsonova. Now, this is a tough one. Samsonova has been playing some good tennis. Question is, do I go and put my faith in Osaka that she's going to make a deep run? Because, yeah, I think Samsonova to beat Osaka. Jabeur to beat Wanyu. Pauline to beat Shamkova. Navarro Raducanu is an interesting one. And I don't think Raducanu will get the win, if I'm being honest. So we shall go for Navarro. I think the players that tend to trouble Navarro are ones that have some sort of firepower. Raducanu doesn't quite have that. She does try to hit the ball early, and she can hit winners, etc. But it's a different type of attacking ability. I think Navarro will be too solid for Raducanu, and she's just as athletic. I would argue she's more athletic, Navarro, than Raducanu as well. So it's going to be a tricky one for Raducanu to navigate if she does get to that stage. Buskova and Noskova will go for Noskova. Anisimova, Lulu Sun, that's a good one. It's a good one. Two attacking players. I'll go for Anisimova. Andreeva to beat Kudermetova, I think. Yeah. Schnelli to beat Blinkova. Kostyuk, Potapova will go for Kostyuk. Kalinskaya or Shachima. I mean, Kalinskaya has just been... She's been on a real downward trajectory for this year. I mean, she's now seeded 32. She was, I think, seeded around 11 to 14 at the start of the year. So she is dropping down the rankings pretty rapidly. Needs to find something soon. I think she'll get the win here. Tomjanovic and Pegula go for Pegula. Keys to beat Andreeva. That's Erica Andreeva. Katie Volinets, Ostapenko, or Ostapenko. Towson to beat Grant. Osorio Badosa. Now, Badosa, not really sure on her back and how is it feeling. I don't know. Someone tell me. Yep, my daughter doesn't know either. So I am actually not sure. I mean, Indian Wells, she didn't even play. I'm not convinced, so I'm going to go for Osorio. Mokhova and Azarenka. Mokhova. Bencic to beat Svitolina, I think. Bencic has just been playing so well. So, look, this match is on her racket, I think. Svitolina has been playing well, and it's great to see two players who have come back from maternity leave doing really well. But I think Bencic, the level has just been really good from my perspective. I know she lost to Madison Keys 6-1, 6-1, but Keys was playing really well in that match, and we know that she is playing the best tennis of her life, I think it's fair to say. A random match against Sabalenka, I have to say. Sabalenka destroyed her, but I think she maybe just had one of those days where nothing was working. Mertens and Bolter will go for Bolter. Garcia, Swiatek. Garcia keeps on getting Swiatek. She must be hating this. Sabalenka to beat Freck. Vekic, Collins, Vekic. Zheng Xinwen, Potenseva, Zheng. Rabakina to beat Fernandez. Goff to beat Sakari. Sakari, although, is a tricky customer, very tricky customer on these slower hard courts. I mean, she nearly took that first set of Coco Golf when they played it at Indian Wells, and it was an interesting one because it was a tiebreaker. She takes that tiebreaker, and I think she might go on to win it. It was one of those momentum shifter or momentum shift type sets, and it shifted the way of Goff. Then she rode with it, rode with the wave. But we'll go with Goff to get the win. Pavlyuchenkova and Haddad-Maia, Kasatkina and Samsonova will go Kasatkina. Giuseppe Paolini, actually, I don't know. Not sure about that. Yeah, let's do that. Gilberto Paolini. Emma Navarro and Noskova. We will go with Noskova. Between Navarro, it's a big call. I'm going for it. And this is over Mira Andreeva. And this is the type of matchup where Andreeva could really, Anisimova could actually have some success because she has the firepower to trouble Andreeva, but Andreeva's shown against players like Rebecca Sabalenka that actually she's able to handle it. A lot is going to come down to how the 17-year-old is feeling physically because she's played a lot of tennis and obviously she's won Dubai, won Indian Wells. How is her body going to hold up? It's a pretty quick turnaround. For the men, they've got some extra days. For the women, she played on Sunday. She's probably going to play on Wednesday. That's not a lot of rest. So Sunday's a write-off because she's played. So you get Monday, Tuesday, 2 days rest, and then you're back into it potentially. It may be on Thursday, it's the first match, but either way, 2 or 3 days, it's a very quick turnaround. I'm going to go with Anisimova just because I just find it very difficult to see Andreeva making a deep run here as well. If she does, it's going to be incredible, by the way. And I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's improbable that she's going to win 3 Masters in a row. And if she does, then, the rest of the field should be really, really scared, more so than they are even now. Because it means, she's not just something special, an apology, but she's looking unbeatable then, right, if that happens. Schneider to beat Kostyuk, yeah. Kanskaya, Pagula, we'll go for Pagula. Keys, Ostapenko, Keys for me. Towson, Osorio, Towson. Mochova and Bencic. Mochova. Swiatek to beat Bolter. Okay, round of 16, Sabalenka, Vekic. Sabalenka. Zheng Xinwen and Rybakina. It's a tough one because Zheng hasn't really been playing too well, so it's difficult to really go for her. But Rybakina also has not been playing amazing. We'll go with Rybakina. I'm going to go with Haddad-Maia to cause the upset and beat Coco Gauff here. Haddad-Maia in Miami. Gauff has not been playing particularly well. I'm going for it. Jabeur, Kasatkina will go for Jabeur. That'd be a really entertaining match, by the way. Kasatkina, Jabeur, that'd be great. Noskova and Anisimova will go for Noskova to be Anisimova. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Noskova. You probably have seen in my draws, but I think maybe the slightly slower hard courts. She has to get it to click at some point. She's too good a player. To not start making some deep runs at some of these major tournaments. Schneider and Pagula. We'll go for Schneider. I'm putting my faith in the young guns here. Keys and Towson. We'll go for Keys, though. Mochova and Swiatek. Unfortunately for Mochova, it's just not a good matchup. It's not. On anything other than, in the Roland Garros final, she had her chances. I think if they were to play on grass, I think Mochova wins. But any other surface, it's looking quite dire for her in terms of a matchup. I think also the balls have changed, etc. as well. We're talking about that a lot, but it does make a difference. Mochova, the way she plays, she's very aggressive. So if you're going to play that type of tennis with dead balls, it's not ideal. Swiatek's just so good on these slower hard courts. Okay, quarterfinals. Sabalenka are back, and now I think given form Sabalenka. Haddad-Mayer and Jabeur will go with Haddad-Mayer to get the win there. Noskova and Schneider will go for Noskova. And then Keys and Swiatek. I think Swiatek would get her revenge and beat Keys. So it leaves us with a Sabalenka Haddad-Mayer semi-final and a Noskova Swiatek semi-final. Now, this is an interesting one because really we have been talking about Sabalenka and Swiatek winning titles this year, and it hasn't quite happened for either player. They haven't really been able to do too much. I mean, if we look at Sabalenka's, I mean, she won Brisbane, fine, but since then she's won nothing. And she's made a couple of deep runs, of course, Australian Open final, Indian Wells final, but she hasn't won the major titles. And then for Swiatek, it's been pretty much the same story. I mean, she hasn't won a title yet at all. Semi-finals of Australia, semi-finals of Qatar, quarterfinals of Dubai, semi-finals of Indian Wells. So she's been very consistent, but just hasn't been able to make it past the semi-finals. Will she be able to do it here? Let's see. So Sabalenka, Haddad-Mayer. I mean, what's the head-to-head? Let's have a quick look. They've never played, so that's going to be a difficult one to call. Man, they've never played. Really? That's annoying. It's really annoying. Now, Swiatek and Noskova is 4-1 in favor of Swiatek, but the matches have been super close. Super close. I mean, Noskova... So first of all, 2023, Swiatek beat Noskova straight sets. But after that, look, Australian Open last year, Noskova won in 3 sets. Indian Wells last year, Swiatek destroyed it, 6-4, 6-love. Okay, you say fine. Okay, well, now Swiatek's starting to take over. No. 2024 Miami, same tournament as this one. Noskova lost 6-7, 6-7, 6-4, 6-4. And then lost the same scoreline in Doha this year, 6-7, 6-4, 6-4. So it looks like we might be guaranteed a tiebreaker. Noskova, though, is close. And I'm pretty sure she was a breakup. I think it was maybe in Doha in the second set. I'm going to go with Noskova to get the win because she's not far off beating Swiatek again. I think she'll do it. If she gets to this stage, that's the real question mark, right? Sabalenka, Haddad-Mayer. Do I go for a quote-unquote random final, or do I go for something that is a bit more realistic? I mean, Haddad-Mayer could frustrate Sabalenka on these slower hard courts. She likes it with a lot of variety. Sabalenka, we saw Andreeva really trouble Sabalenka with that variety as well. She's a lefty, so it's even more awkward. You know what? I'm going to go for it. This is going to be one of the most wild draw previews I've ever done. We're going for Haddad-Mayer and a Noskova final. I'm going to go for I'm going to go for. Have they played before? Haddad-Mayer and Noskova. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. So they played once in Tallinn in 2022. I mean, it means zero. Really doesn't mean anything because Noskova would have been. I think she would have been how old? She would have been 18. No, she would have been 17. So yeah, can't really take too much into that. I'm going to go with. Oh, my daughter, I don't know what she's saying. She's picking. I'm going to go with Haddad-Mayer to win Miami. Pretty crazy cool. I'm going for it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think and why. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well. We'll see you in the next video.